What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Fantasy Feud. Today, we are talking about our top 5 landing destinations for Odell Beckham Jr. But before we start today, I want to say, can you subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoyed today's content? It means a lot to us, and it would help us out a lot. And I want to start off with number 6, my honorable mention. I think personally he would be a great fit for the Cleveland Browns. I think him and Baker would be a dynamic duo. Wait. Oh, sorry, guys. Someone in my ear told me this isn't 2019 anymore, and that didn't work out. Right, sorry. Uh, okay, I guess we're just gonna move on to 5. Paul, do you want to take over number 5 for me?
Yeah, so with number 5, it's not necessarily where he should land, but more so where he could land. Detroit Lions have the first shot at claiming him off of waivers. Um, my only reasoning with this is kind of more so maybe Detroit, they kind of take a chance on somebody who could potentially revert back to his old ways. Maybe he just needs to change his scenery. And if they feel they can take a chance on him to come back and be a number one receiver, it might be something that they're willing to do simply because they get Jared Goff another weapon. They don't really have a lot of big name receivers over there. They got Khalif Raymond, who's acting as a number one, Quintez Cephas when he's healthy. It's just they don't have that true number one guy anymore ever since Megatron left. They tried to replace Golden Tate with him. They tried to do it with Marvin Jones Jr. And they're good receivers in their own right, but none of them come close to the level of what Odell Beckham is when he's elite. And maybe, like I said, it's just a change of scenery. He needs a fresh start somewhere. And Detroit might be willing to kind of make that bet because I don't think it's going to cost him very much. Obviously, if they claim him off waivers, it's going to be a whole lot cheaper anyways. But that's just kind of an idea.
The thing that scares me most about that situation is Odell Beckham, if he ends up on Detroit, probably just won't play it down for them and just like throw the whole season away and be like, "Yep, I'm just gonna wait till next year when I'm available to sign somewhere." So
he will stay at his house. He won't even show up to the facility if they claim him off.
I would say it's a huge risk by Detroit, and that's why it's a major what if and number 5 on the list. But it's definitely a possibility for a brand new head coach who sees Odell on the market and he's like, "This is Odell Beckham. Why not try to grab him? He'd be great for my team." So, well, whatever with the Detroit. It probably won't happen. Moving on to number 4. This is Mason's team right here. Not his team technically, but you know his boy Lamar Jackson plays for him. So I'll let Mason talk about this a little bit.
Yeah, guys. Number 4, Ravens are in need of a wide receiver outside of Mark Andrews and Marquise Brown. There is not a real consistent piece there. I don't think they need Odell Beckham Jr. I think they're playing fine without him, but he would add if he goes there and he actually decides he wants to play football. He could be a consistent receiver for him. Other than that, I don't, I just think it's plausible. I don't think it's a big reality that he goes there.
I think
That's my take on that.
I think Lamar's definitely a big upside to playing like for Baltimore too. Like I think a lot of free agent or waiver receivers are going to be there and they're going to see Lamar Jackson and be like, I want this guy to be my quarterback because obviously he's a baller and obviously he can lead a team pretty well. But
Odell Beckham's mad that he's not getting, that huge target share over in Cleveland. He's not going to get a huge target share in Baltimore. No, I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah, Baltimore is not going to change their game plan to benefit Odell at all. And that's probably why we have Baltimore down at number 4, just because if he does land there, he's not going to like do as much as what he wants to do. And you got to think of Odell's ego about where he's going to sign. There's like 2 factors in it. 1, he has to receive a decent target share, and 2, he has to be on a contender essentially. And that brings us to the surprise contenders at number 3 at the moment. That would be the Las Vegas Raiders. Paul, do you got anything on that?
Yeah, I mean, just kind of in the wake of the whole Henry Ruggs situation, I feel, again, this kind of reverts back to my Detroit take. I feel like a fresh start, and he's going to play with a red-hot quarterback right now in Derek Carr. I don't know if his ego is going to play a part in this. I feel like that's kind of the direction that the Las Vegas Raiders are moving away from, like distracting players. Obviously, they had the fiasco with Antonio Brown a couple years ago, bring him in as a free agent or trade for him. and then you end up cutting him before the season even starts because of how much of a headache he is. I don't really foresee that kind of being an issue with Odell. Like I said, I think he just wants out. He wants to go somewhere he can kind of dictate, like Mason said, the target share he's going to get, and just being able to play comfortably and play free again. And I think if he were to get picked up by the Las Vegas Raiders, like I said, Derek Carr, he's red hot. I feel like he can use him in the midst of losing a big target, such as Henry Ruggs was in himself. He still has Hunter Renfrow. And I just feel like it could almost be a seamless transition for him. And I think it would kind of maybe give him that spark again and make him have passion for playing football.
I think ODB kind of fits in with the Las Vegas Raiders, that misfit group. I think he would fit in that offense very well. I think he'd stand out probably as their number one receiver if he was able to get in there and transition for a couple weeks. And like Paul said, if he's able to get back into his old form of, being that top tier receiver, that three-time Pro Bowl receiver he once was. But yeah, let's go ahead and move on to number 2.
Yeah, number 2, it seems like there's only 2 teams really in this race at the moment. You kind of have to reach for the other 3 teams. It seems like as of now, there's only 2 teams that he really wants to go to. And number 2 would probably be Green Bay, in our opinion. I think pairing him with Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers would just make that offense super stellar, pretty much unstoppable at that point. I mean, Odell as a number 2 receiver would be fantastic for that offense. I mean, you already got a team that's 7-1, having a super amounts of success. Defense is playing pretty well right now. You got Aaron Jones on the ground. I think he would have a decent target share there in Green Bay. Maybe not one to his complete liking, but he's gonna be on a team that's winning games, and he's gonna help them win more games essentially.
Yeah, I do like ODB fitting in with the Packers, but I do think they are a more traditional team. If ODB starts throwing his antics, I don't think they would put up with that, for one. For two, do they even take the chance on him? He's been, a distraction in both the Giants and the Browns locker room. I know they just don't like that kind of. So that makes me kind of believe that the Packers, I'm going to go against you guys a little bit. I think the Packers might be down number 3, and the Vegas Raiders might be 2 or maybe even 1. That's my list right now. I don't know. That's just what's going through my head. But yeah.
You said even number 1. That's really surprising because I feel like the number 1 team is by far the most obvious team. And that would be the New Orleans Saints, the team that was actually trying to trade for him before the deadline. So I think the Saints are the clear-cut number 1. I mean, he's going to have all the target share outside of Alvin Kamara because, I mean, let's be real, they don't have any other receivers there really besides Marquez Callaway, who's just a deep field threat. And now you got Trevor Siemian throwing the ball, who doesn't really have a deep field threat. So who's he going to rely on? Odell Beckham.
Now, I kind of want to jump in here.
Yes, I saw that. That's why I
feel
stopped.
like if this, I feel like if this happened last week, it'd be a completely different story. And I would agree with you 100%. I feel like this would be the most likely destination, but I don't think it is now simply because of the injury to Jameis.
Yeah.
I feel like quarterback is kind of more important to them to try to find somebody that's going to be a stable starter. Like we talked about the other day, I feel like Trevor Siemian, who is looking like he's going to be the starter come Sunday, not Taysom Hill. We know that he's a game manager type quarterback. He's not going to go out there wow you with 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. He's not going to go out there slinging it all over the field. And we already spoke to it that we think they're going to have to rely on the run game a lot more. Mark Ingram, Alvin Kamara. And so that just, to me, I see the fit. I see the need for the receiver, that playmaker. But I think, like I said, if this happened a week ago before the Jameis injury, I would be all in 100% that this is probably the best spot that OBJ could land.
The most best.
Yeah, I know. That sounded weird coming out, but I feel like it could be the best landing spot for OBJ. But like I said, the injury, it kind of kills it for me. I think that if he went here, he wouldn't be as productive as what he's trying to be or trying to show that he can still do on the field. I think that it would become more of a distraction because now they're trying to implement him. They're trying to make him fit. They're trying to get him back to where they can justify even making the pickup, you know? And I think with like I said, the injury to Jameis and having to start Trevor Siemian now, it seems a little wonky of a fit. It's almost like they're trying to force a square peg into a round hole at that point.
So, what would your number one destination be if it's not New Orleans?
I mean, I know, like you just talked about, Green Bay. I feel like they are up there, simply because I know you said that the antics off the field could potentially cause conflict internally in the locker room. But I also feel like playing with a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers, obviously, if the whole vaccination thing comes to like it's out of play, I guess, and he's back on the field, like you almost kind of taper down your own ego and your pride just to be able to play with a guy like that. Like you've seen it with Tom Brady for so many years.
I was gonna say Antonio Brown goes over there. Tempers goes down real quick.
They show that they have issues with chemistry with teammates and just being a distraction. But then you get the opportunity to play with somebody like Tom Brady, who has 7 championships, and he's out here doing the right things 24/7, being a leader, kind of bringing his team to relevance. And, you know, I feel like sometimes, like I said, you have those guys that start to buy in and they put their pride and ego aside, which allows them to kind of flourish again and be a good player. But
and the number one landing spot for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, or for Odell Beckham, is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
no. Like I said, if I had to choose one, I would be in agreement with Mason that I think he just kind of fits that misfit cast of what the Oakland or the Las Vegas Raiders kind of put together. Yeah. That would be my number one spot for him to land. But I love all these choices. Like I said,
we're rebelling against Stone. We just moved the Vegas Raiders to number one. Paul, I'm kind of with you on Stone. I'm with you, and it makes sense that the Saints need ODB. They have one of the worst receiving cores right now. Michael Thomas is done for the year. It only makes sense, but we know ODB can't even handle Baker Mayfield, who's like a decent quarterback in the NFL myself. And like if he goes out there to play with Trevor Siemian, he's just gonna cry about it. And I don't know. That's just my thought.
I do want to talk. Right, I just see the fit.
Yeah, the fit is right.
Like everything will be right for him. They're a contender, kind of.
But then you got to think of the fact that he's a diva, and that he would probably would be like, yeah, no, I don't want to play for them. But I mean, I don't know. It's all a toss up. I like Packers. I like Vegas. I like the Saints. I think those are the top 3 destinations in no particular order. So
that's fair. We're out of time for this video though today. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Like we said at the beginning, comment down below if you think there's any other trade or any other destinations that Odell will go to. Not trade destinations. That doesn't make sense because he doesn't play for a team. Subscribe to the channel for more content like this. We'll try to push this out for you guys every single day, except Sundays because we are busy watching football. But football, baby. I'm just gonna let Mason get us out of here today.
Fantasy Few out, baby. Let's go.